Good morning everyone and welcome to my channel. Today is the 1st of May and I thought today I'd do a little bit of a vlog, just a daily vlog, because today, but 1 year ago, 12 months ago, my sabbatical started and I have been meaning to talk about that a little bit more on my channel after it ended. So also today, 6 months ago, I went back to work. And so I thought, today we can take as a day of reflection. Today is a national holiday here. It's kind of the national holiday for workers. I don't know what it's called in English, I'm sorry, but I think it's kind of fitting, to talk about, work and work-life balance and the sabbatical and just my experiences a little bit. That is the idea that I have for today. So I hope this is going to be interesting for you. I will take you through my day doing, some lighter chores. I have some stuff that I really want to get done today, and then also discussing some of these things that I have learned during my sabbatical, but then also going back to work after the sabbatical. And I hope that this will be kind of a nice, chill, relaxing, calming little discussion video, because I really wasn't sure how I wanted to frame the video, but I think this is a good way to do it. So for now, it is still in the morning. I just got up. The cat has her breakfast. I have my breakfast right in front of me now. So we're just gonna have some breakfast for now, then get ready for the day, and then I'll take you along a little bit more. So I now got ready and it is time to start the day for real. I hope you can't hear all the noise. The neighbors in the flat above me are moving, so it has been quite noisy the last couple of days. I don't know if they're still moving out or if that is now the new people moving in, but it is quite a bit of noise, and I hope that the little microphone doesn't pick it up so much. So what I wanted to talk to you about now a little bit, maybe give you a quick introduction into the whole sabbatical topic. If you haven't followed my channel for the last year, what did I do? And last year I took a 6-month sabbatical for different reasons, some health reasons, especially mental health reasons, but also because I had always promised myself I would do it. So for some context, I had worked for 9 years in academia at that point. I had finished my PhD, and I had always told myself that as a reward after the PhD, I would take some time off and do a sabbatical. Now, when I finished my PhD in 2022, I had a job offer that I thought was too good to pass. So that's why then it took me until 2025 to actually do it. And in German academia, you usually have fixed term contracts. So I didn't quit my job, but my contract just ran out and I didn't immediately go and look for a new job, but I took 6 months just to myself for traveling, for just reading, relaxing, calming my mind. So that is an extremely privileged thing that I could do. One of the reasons for that is that I saved a ton of money during the pandemic time, because basically I was earning quite well and I didn't spend money on anything really. I couldn't travel. I didn't really do anything for years. So that is why that was possible for me. If you want to hear more about all of that, I can link my video from a year ago where I introduced my sabbatical, and that was also the vlog about my first day basically. So I think it can be quite nice to look back on, especially if you maybe consider taking a sabbatical yourself. Yeah, I definitely had a fun time doing that first video. But now we're in a bit of a different spot, so I just want to talk you through the day a little bit, but then as I said later on, I also want to talk about some things that I have learned about myself and just like some truth from my sabbatical time. For now, I would say that I am still in a bit of a difficult spot. Academia is not a very pleasant place to be working right now, but it is the one thing that I feel I can do. And in theory, I can do quite well. So let's see if I can bring that into practice as well. And so my highest priority for today, I want to send off a job application. Right now, I have a scholarship for a couple of months, but I definitely need something afterwards. So I have been applying to jobs, and today is the deadline for one of those. I have pretty much written everything I need for that, like all my documents are in order. I just have to bring it all together, read through it one last time, and send it off. So that is the first thing that I want to do today. And then also one of my high priority things today, I have decided during my sabbatical that I really need to take actual vacations where I go somewhere. I hadn't done that for so long, like basically since the pandemic, and I just realized how much I had missed it and how much I love traveling. So this is one of the things that's very important to me. So I have already planned 2 trips for this year as well. And for one of those trips, I have to send off the money today. So that is also one thing I will do. And that is going to be kind of my reward after sending off the application, so that, I can pay for my vacation after that. So I think that's what I'm going to do right now, and then we can reconvene. So as you can see, I have made it to the floor. I also put on some makeup and a different shirt, because now that I have done the important stuff for today, what I want to do next is film some videos. As today is the 1st of May, I do want to finish filming my April vlog with some final updates. Then I will probably also film my April wrap up, which I like to do immediately when the month ends, just so most of it is still quite fresh in my mind. And I also want to film a vlog update for kind of a special reading vlog that I'm working on, kind of behind the scenes. So I do have a couple of updates to do right now. However, I thought before we do that, I can take this opportunity that I look a little bit more put together, and we can talk about 5 things that I have learned during my sabbatical. Okay, maybe just in general, something that I noticed when I started my sabbatical is that it takes the brain a while to get out of the productivity mindset. So for me personally, it took about 5 or 6 weeks. Like I really started noticing a difference in how I perceived the world in June when I was in Mallorca and when I came back after. Like that's when I started noticing that I wasn't thinking so much about work anymore. So what I'm going to talk about now is just like stuff that I have recognized over the full time of the sabbatical. And the first thing that I have noticed is that I'm not bored. And I think that is a very good thing in a way. Like I can fill my days with all the pleasant things. Like if you take away my work, I don't really mind, because I have so much going on in my life. And that is a very pleasant thing. I was reading my books, I was doing stuff for my channel, I was going traveling, like obviously you need money for that, but there was always something to fill my time with, and I never had a second where I thought, I wish I would go back to work now. Like even after 6 months, I was only thinking about maybe I should have done this for longer. So I think it was like a very important thing for me to realize, because personally for my life, I always think that my work is kind of my defining feature. I don't have a family, I don't have a ton of friends, I don't go out partying. So for me personally, I always thought, the one thing I can show for my life is my job. But having that time off, I realized like my life is so full even without the job that, it made me realize like how much stuff there is in this world that I enjoy doing and I would love to do all day, every day. The second thing I wanted to talk about is kind of the lies we tell ourselves. And that one was a bit of a harder pill for me to swallow, because I had so many things in my life where I always told myself I would do them if I had the time. Now, you might have noticed similar things in your life if you have like a bigger vacation time coming up and you're making all of these plans of all of these things you're gonna get done now that you have time. I can promise you the time is not the issue. I had so many things where I was like, oh, if I just have the time, I will totally take care of that. And I took care of nothing, absolutely nothing. The second I had my sabbatical, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna enjoy this one. And so nothing got done, like absolutely nothing. And for me personally, a lot of that has to do with how my brain works, with my mental health. I have a lot of anxiety about stuff. I have a lot of like depressive moments in my life where I just don't get anything done. And the sabbatical didn't magically cure that. So stuff did not get done. Like the only thing I started doing was sorting out my closet and trying to get rid of a lot of the clothes that don't fit me anymore and that I wouldn't even wear anymore, even if they did. And I kid you not, I have 2 super large bags of clothes still in my bedroom because I didn't actually get rid of it. It's ready. I literally, like, I just have to take it outside. I didn't do it. So that was kind of a humbling experience for me, but it also showed me that there is just stuff in my life that I cannot get done by myself. Like I just can't bring myself to do these things. And it's not because I'm lacking the time, it's because I'm lacking the mental capacity to do them. The next thing I learned is that I can like waking up more than going to bed. Now, this is something I have never experienced in my life before the sabbatical. For all of my life, as I can remember, I have been exhausted. Like I have a couple of like childhood memories of me like not liking going to bed when I was like 5 years old. But apart from that, like when life hits you, I have always been exhausted and I have always just craved that moment when you fall into bed at night, and I hated that moment when you have to crawl out again. So for me, it was such a pleasant experience to have a stretch of time, like not just one single day where I was excited about something, where I genuinely woke up in the morning excited for the day. And that was such an interesting experience. And I hadn't had that in like 30 years of my life or something. So that was really, really interesting. And I think it also shows how much I loathe so much of my life and how exhausting I find living in a way. And maybe you can relate to that a little bit. And I'm just here to tell you, you can be different. You could be different if you ever felt that way as well. It's kind of a sad thing, but in the moment, it was fantastic. Like I knew that it wasn't like wrong with me, like hating waking up was not my fault. The next thing is kind of connected to that a little bit, and that has to do with sleep quality and peace of mind. As I said, I have a lot of like anxiety issues. I have a lot of stuff in my life that stresses me out, even though it's actually not like that big of a deal, but it just stresses me out a lot. So during that time, like taking that step back and telling myself that this is a time for me to just enjoy, like that was the premise. It was such an interesting experience, taking so much of my stressors just out of the picture for a while and really trying to live day to day. Now, did this cure my brain? No, obviously not. Like a lot of the stuff stresses me again now because I have to deal with it again now. But it was so interesting to see that I can relax so much more if I reduce the stressors. And then also with like sleep, it was so interesting because for the beginning of my sabbatical, I actually didn't sleep very well. I had a lot of dreams and like super vivid dreams. And that was so interesting to me because I do get like an occasional nightmare or something like that. But in my day-to-day life, I think I am too exhausted to have these vivid dreams and to like really remember them, even in the morning when I wake up. So it was so interesting to just see that change in my sleep quality as well. And I wouldn't say that I slept like better having all those vivid dreams, but it just showed me that my brain was kind of changing. You know what I mean? Just because like a lot of that stress was gone. And then my fifth thing, and that is very personal to me, might be very different for you. I learned that I need a lot less social contact than I thought I needed. When I am in a social context, I look quite outgoing. I can talk quite a lot, but I don't enjoy being around people all that much. So if I go to the office every day and there's people there every day, I will spend time with them. Like I will have a chat, I will go, have lunch with colleagues, and I will appreciate that. But what I have learned during the sabbatical is that I don't actually need that to feel happy and to feel joy. I really, really enjoyed just being by myself and just doing the things that I love doing. I experienced solo traveling, and while I did really enjoy sending my friends pictures and telling them about my experiences and adventures, I also was so happy that I got to do those things for me by myself. And also, just being here, reading through my book stacks, it was bliss. It was just bliss. And while I'm not saying I don't want to see my friends and family anymore, I just realized how much of the like social interactions that I had during the workday, I don't need that for my well-being. I just needed that for the picture I had for like what it's like to have a job and to work somewhere. And I think that was just such a important experience for me because now I can tell myself that it is okay to stay in, that it is okay to have home office days where I don't talk to anyone because I don't actually need these social interactions at all. And that has also helped me reduce my stress a lot. Now, I talked about how this was also about my health. I have migraines, and I used to have quite a lot of migraines. So I was really intrigued as well to see how all of that would translate into my migraines, how often I get them and all of that. Now, one thing that I find very surprising is that during my sabbatical, I still had quite a lot of migraines. And I think that is because it really takes time for the brain to adjust. So especially at the beginning, also, like spring weather is always a little bit rough for me because like the weather can change very dramatically, and that is one of my triggers. But apart from that, I just really felt like my brain was still trying to catch up to the fact that we are reducing the stress right now. And it was like so interesting to really see the change over time. Like I really think, even though there's like this research that shows you that like I think 8 days is where you max out on relaxation when you take a vacation. Now, I haven't really looked into the research of that. I don't know what they're actually looking at there. But for me personally, having those 6 months and like severely trying to create space for a life like I want to live it, and not just like the things I need to do to survive this world. It was very, very interesting, and it was a very gradual thing. And so I would say if you think about taking a sabbatical, don't go under 6 months. I think I really wanted to do it for longer. And that's also the thing about the sabbatical. It's like so many people will tell you their opinion. Like if you announce it at work or with your friends or stuff like that, people will tell you what they think you should do during your sabbatical. And I think that is the most ridiculous thing, because like the whole point is that I'm taking the time for me. So one of the things I was told is that if I take a sabbatical that is longer than 6 months, I would not be able to get back to my job. I would not find a new job afterwards. So that is why I limited myself to the 6 months. Now, obviously, the financial strain also plays a role, but I could have done it for longer. I got scared by those comments, and I don't know if they're true. And yeah, that's just something to keep in mind, I guess, that people will just tell you stuff. I also had other people tell me that I needed to go on, a world travel if I did a sabbatical. Like if I stayed at home, it wouldn't do me any good at all and stuff like that. And looking back now, I find that so weird. Like people trying to tell you, hey, if you're taking time off for yourself, you better do it like that. So my message to you is, if you consider it, do it the way you want to do it, and do it for yourself. And maybe other people will look at, my sabbatical and say like, oh my God, that's the most boring shit I've ever heard. Like you were staying at home reading books. Like what's wrong with you? But that is what's wrong with me. I just want to stay home and read my books. Okay, so those are the 5 things that I have learned during my sabbatical, and I will try later on to tell you about the 5 things that I have learned going back to work. But for now, I will film my other videos. So it is after lunch now, and I'm here with my little sweet one. And I thought for this afternoon we are having some amazing sunshine, so I think I want to go outside with the cat a little bit and spend some time on the balcony. But before we go and do that, I wanted to talk about the 5 things that I have learned now that I have gone back to work, to wrap up a little bit with this whole sabbatical idea. The cat doesn't like it when I film, so I will try to speak a little bit more quietly and hope that the mic will still pick it up. Okay, so the first one I wanted to mention, and it was like one of the first things I noticed when I got back to work, is that the rest doesn't last. So even though you might have been at your most like rested and like, inner peace of your life after a sabbatical, you will get back into the like productivity mindset and the stress levels and all of that very quickly. Especially for me, because like for me, working always has a lot to do with like anxieties. It didn't take long for me to feel just as bad as I had before I left. I wouldn't consider a sabbatical like some magical cure where you go back to work and suddenly you're full of energy again. This also has to do a little bit with the next point that I want to make. But yeah, I think that for me, the sabbatical was like a great time for what it was, but it did not have like the lasting effects that maybe I was hoping it would have in the long run. Now, the second point is connected to that. It is that if you hated doing something before you left for the sabbatical, you're probably still gonna hate it when you get back. So one of the things for me personally was that I wasn't even sure whether I wanted to go back to academia after the sabbatical. I'm still not sure whether I want to stick to it, but it's like also really hard to find something else because like right now the labor market is not very pleasant. Let's just be real here. Like everyone's telling us we need to work more hours and we need to work more in our lives, but there's no jobs. Like, what do you mean? Like, this is all so stupid. I came back from the sabbatical and still had the same like work tasks lying around that I had left 6 months earlier. So yeah, going back to that, I still recognized all the things that I didn't love doing and I still have to do them, and they didn't get better through this time. And again, this is connected with the next point a little bit, and that is that when you go back, I felt it's easier to identify the draining aspects of your job. Like while I was in the midst of it, I knew that there were things that were really dragging me down, but it was hard for me to put the finger on like what it was exactly that was making my life so hard. I feel like after I came back from the sabbatical, I could grasp much more which tasks I dreaded more and which ones drained me more. And that is also connected to what I said earlier about like the social contacts and like just not needing so much social contact and yeah, just like talking to so many people during the workday and stuff like that. Yeah, that was like one of those things, for example. But it was a reset in that sense that you get out of the immediacy a little bit and can reflect on it a little bit more when you come back. Then one thing I would recommend that has worked well for me personally is to start slow and start small. So if you can, don't go back to like the extreme work hours immediately to like the hardest work tasks that have been waiting for you. I am currently not working full time again, and I think that has helped me get back into things. And also, I did not start out with these tasks that I found that I just dreaded so very much, or that I just found anxiety inducing and stuff. I started with some things where I was like feeling like, okay, I'm doing it again. I'm getting back into it. Similar to how the relaxation doesn't start immediately 100%. I think also like getting back into it should not start like immediately 100% again. If you can like influence that at all. Obviously, that is again a very privileged thing to decide, like how many hours you want to work at first and like how much autonomy you have over your work tasks and stuff like that. And then the last thing I wanted to say, and that has to do with all of the stuff I have mentioned so far, is that capitalism is not your friend. We are brought up in a way that we think that working is the most important thing that we can do. Our jobs are like the most important things in our lives. Obviously, we also need to have children. So the capitalism can have, yeah, I know we are not going to have children. I'm sorry. We're not. But yeah, obviously capitalism wants to have workers in the future as well. So you really have to take that step back and realize that a lot of the expectations that are brought to us in our lives are just there to support capitalism. And my job is a very privileged job. It's a job that I have enjoyed for many years, that I had a good time with, but I can also recognize how capitalism is the root cause for a lot of what's wrong with my job as well. And just, if I think about like ideally what I would like my job to be like and what it is, I can see how capitalism is the reason those two pictures don't match. For me personally, the sabbatical was such an affirmation that I work to live. I do not live to work, and I will only ever work to have the money to live the life that I want. And that is just such a powerful thing, because I mentioned that earlier. Like for me, I always thought like, oh, my job is like the important thing in my life. And I have been moving a lot to like new places where I didn't know anyone just for my job. And so, yeah, taking that step back and recognizing that really all I want is to, be able to live my life. And I will do what it takes for that. But I'm not gonna do more because I don't want to. And you won't get a reward for that. And I think that's a millennial thing. I think that's a Gen Z thing as well. We have recognized that capitalism is not our friend, and we don't get anything for pretending otherwise. So, yeah, those are 5 things that I have learned going back to work after 6 months sabbatical. Maybe that sounds a little bit negative, but for me personally, it has been quite the interesting experience. I had a lot of time to reflect on me, on my needs, on who I am as a person, and how I want to live. And I have definitely seen some improvement as well. Like, even though the sabbatical is over, some of these things that I have learned have still made it better now that I'm back working. And yeah, that's that part. I think now the cat looks so cozy and sleepy. So I yeah, I'm going outside. Maybe not right now, but soon, to soak up some sunshine. But I'm also almost a week behind with like YouTube videos, so I need to catch up watching some YouTube as well. So I think that's what I'm gonna do for now. So I said I would catch up on some videos. I fell asleep for an hour. Just some napping with the cat. She was very, very happy about it. Now I made it outside. The cat has not joined me yet, but I hope she will. So I'm gonna start reading my book and just soak up the sunshine. Okay, I don't want to be a nitpicky clown here, but I just started reading this book literally the second paragraph. And it says that the character had to learn very early that yesterday will turn to today, and today will turn to tomorrow. What? What is this translation? Is that a thing? Is that like, weird writing? Or is that just stupid? Okay, bye. So as you can see, I did get enough sunshine right now. It was getting very warm outside, and a little Mrs. right here did not decide to join me for some balcony time. I had to be outside all by myself, but that's all right. I did manage to read the first 50 pages in my book, and yeah, it's all right so far. It is like the typical healing fiction stuff where you just have these like little vignettes of people's lives. So I'm intrigued to see how I like the rest. This one was all right, but like nothing crazy. It talked about a woman who didn't really know what the favorite sweets of her daughter were, which I thought was kind of interesting because, like, yeah, in my family, a lot of people also don't really know what I like and what I don't like, but they do like giving gifts. So I understand the struggle a little bit. And the funny thing is that The one person who really knows what I like is my dad, because he's the one who, when I was a child, just took me to the store and told me to get what I wanted. And so, yeah, he knows, but like other people, it depends. Like I'm always trying to give them hints and they're very good at picking up on them. But yeah, I could understand that whole like family dynamic with the snack preferences. So now it is time for me to go take my bath. I always take a bath on Fridays because I am a water person, and water just really helps me replenish my soul. So I'm going to take my book and I'm gonna go into the bath now and spend a lovely hour in there reading. And after that, we're gonna have some dinner. I think I'm gonna make some burger, like one burger for me, one. So yeah, I'm excited about that. It's like my little start of the weekend ritual now, obviously, because today is a holiday. I've already started my weekend early, but yeah, that's the next plan. And yeah, it's just, oh, the sunshine is just so good. Like, I am so happy we are having nice weather right now, and I am trying to enjoy it without guilt. Like, that's a big thing for me, is like guilt when I'm not outside when the weather is nice, because I am such a summer person. But I read this article about how it's like really ridiculous to feel that guilt, because sometimes it's being outside is not what you need. And I don't technically enjoy being outside, I just enjoy the sun. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I definitely soaked up enough of the sun for today. And now it is time to soak up some water. So I look very glamorous right now, I know. I have made it out of the bath again. I'm currently in my heated blanket because I did a very rough workout yesterday, and my back is not like super happy with me right now. So I'm trying to avoid the kind of sore muscles that will trigger a migraine. So yeah, nice and warm right now. I also had dinner and I finished watching the final episode for now for the One Piece live action. It was really fun. It was really fun. I still think I prefer the first season a little bit. I think by now they have that issue that is just in general an issue with One Piece, that there is so many characters that I start to miss some that we don't really hear from a lot. Like Kobe, for example, was not enough for me in this show. But I also love all the new characters, and obviously I was just waiting for Chopper to show up. I love Chopper so much, and I think they did a really good job. I mean, his like big version looks really scary, but like he's so cute and so adorable, and I had a very good time. So yeah, I finished that. I'm not quite sure what I will watch next, because I feel like it might be a little bit too early to do the Heartstopper rewatch. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll rewatch some movies in between, or just like finally catch up with all the YouTube videos that I'm behind on. So we'll see. And yeah, I think I'm gonna end this vlog here. My night is pretty much over. It's like 9 in the evening now. I will just read a couple more pages, I guess, and then I will do the dishes and go to bed, and that will be my day. Now, for my book, I didn't actually read that much while I was taking my bath. The next story is about this like basketball guy, and I'm not gonna lie, it's boring as hell. I do not care about basketball at all, and I know it's not the point of his story. I was very bored, so I will try to fight my way through that story at least for today. That would leave me off at the halfway point, and then I could finish the book tomorrow. We'll see about that. But yeah, this is just what a day in my life looks like. Obviously, very cozy, very, chill, not a lot going on. It's just right how I like it to be. I am very happy that we have the nice weather. Boozie's very happy about that. And whenever she's outside and she looks so happy, it fills me with so much joy because, yeah, back when she was at the shelter, she didn't even have a window, and now she can spend all afternoon outside, and it's so nice and so lovely, and I'm so grateful for that. And maybe circling back one last time to the whole sabbatical thing, I think that the one thing I can say is that I'm so grateful that I did it, that I gave myself this gift, and I had worked so hard to be able to do that. And I have worked so hard like every day of my life to like still be here. And yeah, I'm really grateful that I did that for myself. And even though it didn't like fix all my problems, I can safely say that was the happiest time of my life. And I'm so glad that I got to do it. And I hope that I will be able to do it again one day. Obviously, with the economy, we all don't know what's going to happen right now. Yeah, the world is on fire. We all know that. But I don't want to end it on that note. So yeah, maybe just a little reminder if you are thinking about doing it, and if you have the means to do it, give yourself that gift. Because I think for like the generation of my parents, for example, they are now really looking forward to their pensions, to retirement, and they know they will still be healthy enough to do a lot once they retire from their job. But I don't think that will be the case for us. Like, who knows how much of the world will still be standing once I reach retirement age in like 30 years or something. So yeah, I just really didn't want to wait. I wanted to have that opportunity when I knew I still could. And I'm grateful that I did that. So yeah, 1 year after, it is hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I would love to do it all over again this summer. And I have to try to find that balance, between like working again, but still giving myself the room to be me and to do the things that are good for me. So I hope that this was an interesting video. I hope you had fun watching, seeing just a casual day in my life. Let me know, how are you doing in the comments? Have you ever thought about doing a sabbatical? Would you ever do it? If you did, would you do world travel, or would you also stay home and read books? I would love to hear about that. And I will talk to you very soon. Bye.